דפקת לי? בסוף נגלה שכל הזמן הקלטתי וזה לא מתקדם.
יש לי מתן?
יש,
Take a seat, please. Let's start.
יום, מתי אני יושב לפודקאסט?
Humble.
לא.
מה יהיה עם המילים? תגידו לי מה?
אני בפרק 2. מה?
עדיין, עצם זה שעד כמה שאנחנו מדברים על מילים ופותרים מונחי מילים זה משפר, אבל זה לא משפר באותה מידה, בהחלט. Okay, take a seat, please. What I want to do with you guys at the beginning of today's lesson is slightly different. Let's open the McGraw-Hill book, please. Let's continue speaking about, let's talk about grammar. Oh, thank you. So, where did we stop last time?
בשאלות.
Which page did we stop on when we're talking about?
יש לי שאלה, אפשר?
Yeah.
במה ששי העלה מהשיעור הקודם, אתה אמרת שבקריאה של החיים, אתה צריך... שבקריאה של הקטעים אתה קודם כל עובר על השאלות, ואז קורא שאלה, הולך לאיפה שאומרים.
זו שאלה ראשונה ספציפית, נכון.
ובספר הם אומרים לעשות משהו אחר. זו השאלה שלי. אני, מהשיעורי בית, עשיתי מה שאומרים בספר.
ומה מה שאני אומר זה מתבסס על ניסיון כדעת של...
כן, אבל יצא לי תשובות נכונות, כי בדקתי לזה פשוט דבר.
בגדול, what I would recommend people is start with the question, because think about it. What did they tell you to do in the book?
הם אמרו לקרוא פסקה ראשונה 2, ואז לחפש את השאלה שהם מדברת עליה, וזה נכון, כי אז לא הייתי צריכה לחזור עוד פעם.
To work.
נגיד, אומרים לך שאלה שמתייחסת בשורה 8-9, אז אתה קורא את שורה 8-9, אבל אז אתה כבר...
No. That's not what I said. I said that if they refer you to that particular line, it has to make sense within the context. So we need to read the context, right? Usually the context means a sentence before or a sentence afterwards. Or if we're talking about the meaning of a word, what you can do is basically just predict the missing word and just go to that particular place and just plug in all the answer choices. That's much more localized. Generally speaking, I also asked you to always read the first sentences of each paragraph, right? Because that helps a lot. Got it? So, yeah. Because the passage is perfectly divided into different paragraphs, which means that every paragraph basically starts out with a sentence that tells you what the paragraph is about. Got it? So if you read, even if somebody refers me to line 8 or to line 9, I didn't tell you to go there immediately. I told you to look for the correct answer choice, but as you go through it, and I wrote it here, always read the first sentences of each one of the paragraphs.
אני כאילו מקבלת קטע, כל דבר ראשון שאני עושה, זה קוראת את המשפט הראשון בכל פסקה.
No. Read the first question. If the first question is a general one, leave it. Read the second question. If the second question is a specific one that refers you to, let's say, for example, line number 7, what you need to do is read lines number 1, 2, and 3, which is the first sentence. Let's say it was a very lengthy first sentence, yeah? Read the first sentence, understand what the passage is, and then skip to line number 7. Exactly. Got it? All the while, what I'm asking you guys to do is to work within the passage itself. So mark whatever it is that you need to mark, circle whatever it is that you need to circle, so on and so forth. Okay, were we on page, did we cover this page 520? No. Where we talked about parallelism? So we're talking about grammar. Yeah? Did we cover the previous one? I think I did ask you to cover... okay, good. So this, I don't know, for some reason we are working slightly slower than I usually work. So let's pick up the page just a little bit. Thank you. We have a busy session today. So homework, definitely I'm going to ask you on the McGraw-Hill. starting on page 520 onwards, I would ask you guys to solve about 30 to 50% of all of the pages that we're going to cover. You don't have to do everything. You don't have to do everything, but make sure that you solve at least 1/3 of these. Now, those of you who are also studying TOEFL with me, you guys already know that the course is not only about the examination, the course is about improving your written English, spoken English, so on and so forth. And that's exactly what you have here. This is if somebody were to ask me, okay, what is the single most important word? Again, what is the single most important word in writing English? I would probably say parallelism. In my opinion, that's the single most important word. So please highlight it. But parallelism, I use it in a slightly more inclusive context than they do. Parallelism, basically parallel. You need to make sure that everything is parallel, that everything fits. So, here it is. I think I mentioned that, but let me mention that again. And, or, then. If you see these words, now, mind you, it doesn't matter if these words appear in a question, or if you are the ones who wrote that word, or wrote these words, got it? Let's say I wrote an essay, and then when I review my essay before, because it's already 22 minutes, and after 25 minutes I have to finish my work, right? So, what I'm gonna, and I see that I wrote the letters A and D. What I'm asking you guys to do is, when you see these words, first of all, make sure that what follows these words is parallel to what appears before these words. Got it? For example, she hated to take charge, draw attention to herself, and she hated seeming like a know-it-all. At the beginning of the course, if you were to hear that, we're on page 520, let's work. At the beginning of the course, if I were to give you the sentence, well, almost all of us would have said that that's an okay sentence. Now I ask you guys to do something different. Whatever you see and, or then, the first thing I want you guys to do is look at what shows up after these words. So what is my trigger here? What is the word that I'm going to start analyzing the sentence with? And. Fantastic. So please circle the word and. Page 520, come on. McGraw-Hill, page 520. That's it. That's it. 520. We have a lot of work. Clap, please. So, question. What do you have after the word and? What do you have after? She hated, right? So, Ubi, the verb is hated. She is obviously the subject, right? So, after the word and, I have a subject and a verb. Which means that before the word and, I need to have subject and verb as well. Got it? If this is subject and verb, this has to be subject and verb as well. Everything. Everything. That's exactly my point. Everything. Now, what do you have before that, Tom? What do you have here?
She hated.
She hated. So this is good, right? She hated, subject, verb.
Okay.
But here I have she hated seeming like a know-it-all. Here I have she hated to take charge. Are these two parallel? Are these two parallel?
No.
No, they're not. Even if you don't know what seeming is en old kemishi that quote. So though, even if you don't know what seeming is, you do know that this is not built the same way that is built. Why? Because if this is seeming, this was supposed to be taking. Got it? Now, this is a gerund. This is an infinitive, but these are not that important. We'll talk about those a bit later on. Got it? But immediately you go like, no, this is wrong, because if she hated seeming like a know-it-all, this was supposed to be she hated taking charge.
Drawing.
No. So if this is item number 1 and this is item number 3, yeah? This is item number 3, that means that this should be item number 2. Which means that if the third item is she hated seeming like a know-it-all, the first item should be she hated taking charge, she hated drawing attention to herself, and she hated seeming like a know-it-all. Got it? all three items were supposed to be built in the same way. Subject, verb, gerund. So it should have been, she hated taking charge, she hated drawing attention to herself, and she hated seeming like an adult.
She hated?
Exactly. Now, if I were to do that, then that means that everything would have been parallel. What is the problem with what I just said? Even though grammatically it is correct. Exactly, it's too lengthy. And I repeat it, she hated. I repeat she and hated 3 times. In fact, I could have done with only once, exactly. So instead of saying 1, she hated, 2, she hated, 3, she hated, why not say she hated 3 things? What are those 3 things? Taking charge, drawing attention, and seeming like an adult. It is, absolutely. Why? Again, let's analyze it. The first thing that we pay attention to is the word and, right? Now here, unfortunately, or fortunately for us, they corrected it. All of the books basically tell you, hey, just maintain parallelism. If it were that easy, then everybody would have done it, right? So what I'm giving you guys here is slightly different. I'm giving you the tool, not just the concept, you know? You see my point? I'm telling you, if you see A and D, look at what shows up after the A and D. What shows up after the word A and D? And. What shows up after? Seeming. Got it? So this is a gerund, which means that everything else would have to be a... Never mind. It's basically a verb that ends with an ing. Okay? So my point is, if this ends with an ing, that means that everything... Now I need to check that everything else ends with an ing. Is that the case? Yeah. Taking, drawing, and seeming. And Todd, what you have here, just a sec. What you have here is that it's much more economical structure, grammatical structure. She hated these 3 things. Instead of each one of the 3 things containing she hated, you just say she hated these 3 things. 1, 2, and 3. Got it? It's much more elegant. Got it? It's actually quite simple. So remember this, please. If you want, I can dictate it in English, but in English and in Hebrew. כל פעם כשנתקלים במילים and, or then, whenever we come across the words and, or then, etc. Yeah? Thanks. Now, I'm saying etc. basically because there is an endless number of parallel constructions. But these are the most common ones, right? So whenever you come across these, what I'm asking you guys to do is to, first of all, הדבר הראשון שצריך לעשות, כל פעם שנתקלים במילים, בשלוש המילים האלו ודומותיהן, הדבר הראשון שצריך לעשות הוא לבדוק מה מופיע. הדבר הראשון שצריך לעשות הוא לבדוק מה מופיע אחריהן. The first thing that we need to do is to check what shows up after. See? ואז לבדוק מה מופיע לפניהן. And then check what shows up before these words. See? ולוודא שהדברים במירכאות מקבילים זה לזה. And make sure that both items are parallel. ולוודא שהדברים מקבילים זה לזה. לדוגמה, McGraw-Hill, page 520. McGraw-Hill, page 520. Remember this, please. 20 years from now, you would probably be writing an email, assuming that you're still going to use your fingers, which is probably not going to be the case because you're just going to think it, most likely at that point. I'm really serious, actually. But 20 years from now, when you think about it, I want you to remember, oh, I'm using the word and, oh, let's just make sure that everything is parallel. Got it? That what shows up later also similar to what shows up earlier. Go ahead.
You'll be able to think it, but they won't correct your grammar.
Maybe. Why not create something that is grammatically perfect to begin with? Got it? Yeah. Oh, and by the way, I'm dictating all of my SMSs. And today I dictated like an email that had about 250 words. אני מכתיב את האימיילים שלי. אני לא כותב אותם, זה מטופש.
זה רק בעבר?
No, whenever. Now, even if you have comparisons, you know, Let me show you something. I wasn't supposed to go here this early, but I like you. So let me, so it's just as a special, offer to you guys. Let me show you something. Take a look at page 524. Turn to page 524. Now, the book, and the McGraw-Hill book is a very, very good book, but it's not a perfect book. I told you that they want to sell their book, which is, it's reasonable, but you don't have to teach the same concept in 3 different ways. Then again, it's possible that they didn't know that it's the same concept. But here's my point. Take a look at that sentence. Her chances of getting an A are much better than the lottery. What is my trigger word? Fantastic. So what do you do, Shah? The first thing that you do is look at what?
What comes after?
What comes after then? What comes out after then?
Lottery.
The lottery, right? Now, the lottery is agala, l'chon? It's a noun, but that now is compared to what? To chances, exactly. Now, Ruby, can you compare lottery to chances? Can you? No, you cannot. Absolutely not. Why? Because the lottery is a hagala, the chances is sikuim. You need to compare hagala hagala, sikuim sikuim. Got it? That's the whole point. את לא יכולה להשוות תפוח לתפוז. בסדר, את צריכה להשוות apples and apples.
למה בכלל משווה את זה לצ'אנסס?
No, they said it. That was the original sentence, and that original sentence is wrong. Take a look at the corrected sentence. Her chances of getting blah blah blah. The trigger is then, right? What shows up after the word then? Her chances. And what is it compared to here, top?
אבל קודם אמרת שאפשר להוריד את זה. אני באמת מתבלבלת.
What?
כאילו, נגיד, מה היה המשפט הקודם? תזכיר לי
She hated.
She hated,
yeah. She hated and she
Yeah, but I agree. But previously, you could have said she hated 1, 2, 3. Here you cannot say her chances of X and Y. It's awkward. Got it? So in this case, you will repeat the word chances. I see your point. I see your point. Or at the very least, you could have said her chances of getting an A, listen up, aren't much better than those of winning the lottery. Got it? Those, where those is going to refer to the chances. I'm severely hot in here. Wow. I don't know why that. Oh, because it's on heat. Yeah, okay. Problem solved. So got it? Even though this is a separate lesson, even though it's not really a separate concept, it's the same concept. Got it? So this is lesson number 4, and this is lesson number 3, and this is lesson number 4. But it's basically the same exact thing. Got it? So let's go back to page 520, please. 520. When you compare or list items in a sentence, these items should have the same grammatical form. That is the concept. Now, it sounds, fancy, but it's actually quite simple. That is, the first item is an infinitive or a gerund or a. The other one also has to be that. For example, she hated, so we talked about this. Believe it or not, I like to read more than I like going to parties. So, what is the trigger? What is the first thing that I'm going to be paying attention? Then, right? Then. And then I'm going to be looking at what shows up. Yeah, so believe it or don't. Yeah, exactly. That's an expression. Now, you're right that grammatically speaking, this is not correct. However, this is idiomatic and that's the way to say it, so that's fine. Now, take a look afterwards. I like to read more than I like going to parties. What do you have after the word then? I like going. Got it? So subject, verb, and a verb with an ing. Which means that before that, I need to have subject, verb, and reading, exactly. That's a mistake. I like to read more than I like to go to parties. Yes, you could, but then you come across a different issue, by the way. That's the difference between infinitives and gerunds, and we'll talk about that. Actually, it's better to leave it as is. You know what? As long as we're talking about that, please write the following. Please write the following. She likes walking or to walk on the beach.
She walking.
Walking or to walk on beach.
Walking.
So what do you say? Walking, to walk, both of them?
Walking.
What do you think? So one person thinks walking, to walk.
Walking just sounds better to me.
אני מסכים איתך.
Now, here's the point. Gabriel, who is a native English speaker, tells you that I don't know, it just sounds better. But the minute, the plot thickens, he's going to lose the plot. He's going to get confused. And you know what? It's really, really simple. First of all, you cannot say both. At least two of us here said that you can say to walk, but it's wrong. This is called a gerund, and this is called an infinitive. Now, here's the deal, and you asked me earlier, what is a gerund? So let's deal with that particular topic and then just move on. Gerund is basically the verb plus ing. No, it's not. It's not I am walking. It's not she is walking. It's like she likes the thing. What is the thing? It's the walking. Got it? So a gerund is a verb plus ing, and an infinitive is to plus the verb. She likes to walk. Got it? Now, you are right, Gabriel, and it is correct. And about 70% of the time, native English speakers would feel it, but then again, not always. And the minute they know this, they always get it. And it's quite simple. Listen, when do you use a gerund? You use a gerund on the gerund. So here, this is actually wrong. It's not to walk, it's walking. Yeah. When do you use a gerund? It's actually quite simple. משתמשים בג'רנד כשמדובר בהעדפה כללית או בפעולה שחוזרת על עצמה. So if we're talking about a general preference or an action that repeats itself. העדפה כללית או פעולה שחוזרת על עצמה. We use an infinitive. מתי משתמשים ב-infinitive? נכון, כשמדובר בפעולה חד פעמית. כשמדובר בפעולה חד פעמית. כן? צדק לפני כן, היית מאוד בטוחה לגבי זה?
כן, אני אגיד לך למה, כי אני מכירה את זה מסרטים של כזה רושמים ב-daily site, likes walking on the beach.
You're right. Then again, the vast majority of people would say it's me, right, when we talk about it. I mean, in fact, you need to say it's I, especially when you're right. Got it? So now, can you tell me, please, why is that going to be walking? Not to walk? Exactly. Exactly. I don't know if she repeats it, but definitely it's a preference, right? So how would you use it to walk? So you can say yesterday.
She walked.
Yeah. No, but if I want to use to walk, yesterday, comma, she wanted to walk. Now here, obviously, the lemma is a non-existent one, right? Because nobody's going to say, yesterday she wanted walking on the beach. It sounds horrible, right? But you do need to also know exactly what you want to say, even if it's slightly more ambiguous, right? אפילו אם זה לא הכי יותר ברור.
רשמת? משתמשים כשמדובר בפעולה כללית או בפעולה שחוזרת?
או בהעדפה כללית, או בפעולה שחוזרת לעצמה. בסדר? So yesterday she wanted to walk on the beach. Good. So we've covered that particular topic. Question? אם מדובר בפעולה חד פעמית. Yeah, exactly. If you're not talking about something that's habitual, a habit. It's not a habit. It's something that just, every now and then. Got it? So this is, again, we're eradicating small mistakes. To eradicate, what does it mean to eradicate? לעקור מן השורש. אנחנו הורגים טעויות קטנות פה ושם. בסדר? אגב, אני לא ידעתי, this is the first book that actually I saw that gave a good explanation. Up until like 3 years ago when I saw this book, I was providing people with explanations that I think were not good enough. This is a very good explanation, right? And it's taken actually from your book. Good, moving on. So that concept of parallelism, you're going to see it throughout the course. And now that we know it, we can just zip through many of these things. Oh, parallel functions, page 520. Please highlight this. The better, the better. This is common. Not only A, but also B. Listen, when I check people's essays, usually that's not the case recently, obviously. But when I do have a chance to check people's essays, when somebody uses not only, I immediately perk my ears. The second somebody says not only, I know that 90% of the times they're going to get it wrong. So it's a good place for me as somebody who grades essays, to take off points. Got it? And it's mathematical, especially people who deal, who are good quantitatively. אנשים שטובים, זה אני?
מה הבעיה פה?
Sorry. The problem is that usually people get it wrong. Here. Yeah, it is. Not only X, but also X. I don't like the A and the B because I want you guys to remember that it's the same thing. That obviously you're not going to say X and X, but I do want you to feel that it has to be of the same exact structure. Now, so the more, the better. The better your chances, the more likely you are. Remember that it's preferred A to B, which has something to do with it's an idiom, obviously. I want you guys to write one example of how to use not only, but also, please. So, not only did he show up, comma, he, but he. And you can say the also, by the way, unlike what most books would tell you, the also is optional. You don't have to use it. But he also helped. Got it? Now, all of these structures are perfect. This one is slightly flawed if you think about it. Not only did he show up, this is the verb. Now, the verb is in the form of a question, right? So I have the verb. It's like a question. Did he show up? Everybody can hear it? It's a question, right? And then I have the subject. So I have the verb basically before and after the subject, right? But he also helped. So this is going to be the subject. Yeah, because it's optional. Because if you say not only did he show up, but he helped, that's as good as saying not only did he show up, but he also helped. The also is optional, as I told you. Got it? So just so you know, this is one. First of all, it's a nice construction. אתם שומעים את זה? זה יפה, זה מיוחד.
זה לא נשמע לי,
כאילו did he show.
נכון. Yeah, it doesn't, so get used to it. I'm sorry?
It says not only that he showed up.
No.
It says not only he showed up.
No.
He showed up.
No. I know. Now, first of all, you do realize that it's very, very similar as far as the structure is concerned. But he showed up, he helped. It's kind of similar. The only, tweak, that adaptation is that it's in the form of a question. So I'm not making a statement. I'm not asserting that not only he showed up, not only did he show up. Got it? So it's slightly. Yeah, I'm sorry. מה זה אומר? זה אומר, תחשבו, הוא לא רק הופיע במקום, הוא גם עזר לנו. זאת אומרת, זה לא רק הוא אמר, אני פה, סבבה, להתראות.
לא רק שהוא הופיע.
הוא הגיע והוא גם עזר. הבנת? לא רק שהוא הגיע, הוא גם עזר. מובן הרציונל?
ואם זה היה בלי די?
Not only he showed, no, it doesn't work.
אז למה לא רושמים פה די?
Because it doesn't. you have a lot of energy today. Because.
בגלל שלא היה לי מול.
Yeah, I said okay, that makes sense. Because not only do they, not only will you, not only got it. It's in the form of a question. Not only will you apply to that school, you're also going to get in. Got it? So I'm dictating something. I'm telling you. לא רק שאתה הולך להגיש בקשה, אתה גם הולך להתקבל. Yes? So it's in the form of a question. It's in the form of a question. Now, you can also say something along these lines, and you guys are the first class I'm teaching into. You can say that she likes not only, what? She likes not only ice cream, but let's say...
Not also.
No, but pizza. But pizza, right? Now, in this case, you see the not only X, but also, or but X, this is a noun and that is a noun. And these two nouns are comparable. זה מאכל וזה מאכל, נכון? רואים את זה? מרגישים את זה? It's just that the not only, but, this is much simpler. Here,